Today we will discuss 8 mistakes that are made by these investors, and I will tell you what you have to pay attention to while purchasing real estate. First of all, when you're choosing a country to invest to, you need to pay attention to the political situation in this country, whether there could be any kinds of political, military, religious conflicts. If there are some perspectives of that kind of conflicts, sure, it's not safe to invest in that country. That's why you have to check all kinds of news sources to get the really true information. But don't check the news resources of one country. Try to use different news resources to collect really truth and true information, not just to become the victim of propaganda of one or another side. Then sure, we should find a really reliable developer, because on the same market there are different types of developers. Some of them are really trustworthy and reliable ones, and some of them are not. So for us to choose the best developer on the market, we should to check all of them, and not only to listen to their promises and to all the upcoming projects, but also we have to check their old projects and see how did they treat their customers before and whether they fulfilled all their promises. Also, you have to check the real estate price growth statistics. In some regions, it can be 2-3% per year. In some regions, it can be 5-7%. And in some regions, it can be even 20-30% per year. And sure, you need to feel the difference when the property grows in price just because of the stage of the construction. Because sure, when the developer company just starts building the property, it costs the minimum price. And when the construction progresses, the price is also rising all the time, and when the property is finished, the price is at its maximum. But the price can grow not only like this, the price can grow also because of the special projects of the developer companies, and because the individual approach, because of special location, and because of the limited offer, as it happens in Cyprus, because in Cyprus the land is very limited as it is an island, and the supply simply does not meet the demand. We have conducted a market analysis, and we compiled a list of properties with yield of over 20% per year. To get the list of these most liquid properties, you have to write us on WhatsApp. That's why find us on WhatsApp by this number, or follow the active link in the description to this video, or scan the QR code and write us just one word: investment, and our manager will provide you with all the necessary information. Taxes. When buying a property, you have to pay your attention to the taxes of the countries where you buy your property, because just the cost of the property is not the only cost that you have to pay when buying the property. For example, you have to always remember about property tax ranges in different countries. In some countries in Europe, it can be from 1 to 3%. And in Northern Cyprus, it's very small. Let's compare. For example, in Europe, if you buy an apartment that costs 200,000 euro, it means that every year for just owning this apartment, you have to pay from 2,000 to 6,000 euro per year. And in Northern Cyprus, the property tax is relatively small. We do not pay property tax from the amount that the property costs, and we pay the property tax from the square meters that has this particular apartment. For example, we pay 10 euro cents per 1 square meter. It means that for the apartment 100 square meters, you will pay only 100 euro property tax. The next thing you have to pay attention to is actually maintenance. Maintenance cost we call in Cyprus IDOT. IDOT, this is the price that you have to pay to the company that looks after the infrastructure in your complex. For example, that the lawns should always be green and your pools should always be clean. And the cost of the maintenance can be really very different, from 10-20 euro up to 100-200 euro, and it all depends on the richness of the infrastructure around your complex. Sometimes the situation can happen that you do not really need all this infrastructure, but you pay for it. That's why not to overpay for the infrastructure that you do not really need. You have to know the final person that will use your infrastructure, that you will rent it out to. For example, if you have children and you want to chill with your children in all these 14 swimming pools and use water slides and everything, sure, you need this rich infrastructure and you need to pay for it. But if you are looking for an isolated place and you do not want really just even getting acquainted with your neighbors, then you need like a really small infrastructure that will be cheap and you won't pay much. So if you don't know the final purpose of your investment, the final purpose, how will you use your property, you need a good real estate company that will help you to define this final customer of your property. Cultural religion specifics. It's not really obvious rule, but the thing is that if you are looking for the country to invest to, you need to be aware of different cultural and religion specifics of this country. For example, what is normal in one country, in another country you can be fined or even you can go to prison for doing this. For example, in Dubai, if you will drink alcohol in a public place, you can be fined. And if you're, for example, taking photo of people you don't know, you even can go to prison for 7 years for this, if these people are against of taking photos, of course. The next thing you should pay your attention to is target audience. It means that you have to know your final customer you want to rent out your property to, or you want to resell your property to. And it's cool when your target audience is quite wide, not just families, not just students, but the wider the better. When your target audience is really wide, it means we have a lot of much more options to resell or rent out your property in the most successful way. Also, very important point is to choose a qualified contractor, someone you can believe and someone you can rely on. And of course, if you won't believe in that country you are going to invest to, you need a company that is actually located in this very country and is aware of all the intricacies of the market of real estate in this country. Only companies that are on the ground in this country, they see the real situation, they know the reputation of the companies, they know how do they fulfill their commitments and whether their customers can rely on them or not. In this company, there are always qualified lawyers that check all their permits for construction and all the permits for land and all other types of documents for you to be 100% safe. And even when the deal is finished, you need this company to help you to adapt in this country, to put your children to kindergarten, to school, to university, to get the residence permit for you and your family, and help you with simple stuff like buying furniture to your lovely apartment or villa. Just to sum it up, I described how we work in Cyprus Real Estate Company. However, there are apartments that you should never buy, otherwise you might end up with empty pockets and lose all your money. What are these apartments? I told everyone in my previous video. The active link is on the screen and in the description to this video.